Welcome to Phonogenics 101, a Riotboy production hosted by Jeremy Gloff. The podcast where people who love music discuss albums track by track. Please hit subscribe, and if you'd like to support this podcast, patreon.com/Jeremy Gloff or Venmo @Jeremy Gloff. And now, on to the music. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. We have a surprise episode for everybody tonight. By request from the fans, throughout the last few years, I've gotten a few requests. Can you redo the first album with the classic panel? So I did. It's always been in my mind to get the band back together. Bob and Mark were on the first podcast. And then when did everybody else come along? Sue, did you come along for Clouds? Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're still muted.
No, sorry about that. I can't remember which one I came on, but I was a latecomer. I don't know why.
Does everybody else remember when they jumped on?
I think I was on Clouds.
I think I was on Clouds too.
Yeah.
I think I joined at Ladies of the Canyon, I think.
Okay. And Dave, you and Robin, did you join Blue or
Yeah, I think it was Blue.
Okay. Well, we are meeting tonight to talk about Song to a Seagull. Everyone here, the only person that hasn't been on the Joni podcast is Richard, but Richard is, of course, known to the fan base from being on my Emmylou Harris panel. So he's coming back home. He's coming back home to the Joni family. And of course, if any Joni, I know Mark, you might join some of the Emmylou's. Everyone's always welcome to join any podcast. You guys are my family, and I love you all.
Richard, I did read your anecdote about riding the elevator or meeting her in the lobby, and I am so thrilled for you. What a great experience that was.
Yeah, I had last talked to her in like 1975. So,
Richard, you didn't tell her about our podcast? I'm just messing with you. All right. We have a pressing matter to discuss before Song to a Seagull. Thanks to my Patreon subscribers and everybody. We are like in year 4 or 5 of the podcast. How exciting. It's kind of taken off a little bit. So it's good to have the OG crew back. Joni's Jazz. Joni's Jazz is a compilation of all the Night Ride Home songs for the 18th time on a compilation. No, here I go. Here I go talking crap. What do you guys, Bob? What do you think of Joni's Jazz?
I think it's just a big money grab, like she did in the early 2000s with all the compilation CDs she put out with songs that had already been released and weren't necessary to people that have to have everything she does, so they go out and buy them. Didn't buy those. Didn't buy Joni's Jazz. Bought all the archives. That was great. Those are priceless.
Yeah, the archives are great.
Yeah, they are.
But these things, they're you got like a month ago, Springsteen put out a 6 CD set.
Oh yeah,
of songs that had never been released. Some of them I remember having as the B-sides of 45s back in the 70s and 80s, and that was great. I mean, not all the songs are great. Some of them are kind of throwaways. You feel like Springsteen can write a song in 5 minutes on the back of a napkin and be done, but obviously he's a very talented songwriter, and a lot of them are really, really good. So I contrasted that with with this, which is nothing new.
I when Joni teased Joni's Jazz during some of the press for the last archives, I felt that she had some things that she was keeping off the archives. I felt like there were more Mingus versions that hadn't been on the archives that she was kind of saving for this set. I'm like, okay, here comes the collection where she's really going to highlight some really jazzy stuff she did. And then when I saw the track list, I remember I was driving to work like every red light. Like I'd stop, get my phone out, and like message in our group chat some bullshit. So, not to be negative or anything, but I kind of felt like this was the most Joni Mitchell thing that she's done since her comeback. There's nothing more Joni than a Joni compilation of like a 4 CD set of the same songs. Okay, Chris.
I just want to say that I think that Joni, in feeling Wayne Shorter's loss, felt she wanted to get much of the work that he had contributed to in front of a new audience who perhaps wasn't willing to buy all of the different albums that he was on and, pick out the pieces that he was on. So she just kind of like put them together. So, I mean, I don't think that she as a creative person was doing something that she didn't think was in some way valuable, or just a way of providing an homage to a good friend. So I'm not buying it, but because I own it, most of it all. But that said, I do have one question for anybody who's seen the packaging for it. Does it really embrace and show? There was a painting that hung at Nucleus Nuance for a long time. It was a large canvas, and it was this swirl of jazz. Yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, I think that's it. What's it called?
Then there's
Nope, that's not it. I think might have been the first one there.
okay. Yeah, it doesn't have the name of it.
Ah, all right.
Then there's this one also.
No.
Okay.
None of that, I think. I seem to remember a keyboard featuring prominently in it, but I would love to see that painting again. I bet Jamie, if Jamie was here, he'd know exactly which one it was. All right.
All right, David.
Thanks. So I have a question for those of you does the track list of these, does the inclusion of these particular songs tell you anything about jazz or Joni? I mean, because I see that, Marcy's on there, things that I would not say, oh, no, jazz, Marcy, that jazz standard. And I'm just wondering if putting in things like Marcy and, Sire of Sorrow, or I'm just kind of going through here, things that just don't seem very jazzy to me. Is that instructive somehow? Does that tell you more about Joni and her oeuvre?
I'm looking at the track list. We have Sunny Sunday, Last Chance Lost. Like when I think of a jazz section,
yeah.
I mean, I love those
that's
songs.
jazz, right? Yeah, but is blue jazz, or are we supposed to hear blue as a precursor? Early hints of look, it's jazzish.
Any thoughts from the crowd?
Well, I'd like to know, what. So a lot of her music was infused with jazz, as far as when she was growing up, and she would listen to jazz, and she would listen to, a lot of those. What was it? Those singers. What was the name of that?
Lambert,
Annie?
Hendricks, and
Yes,
Ross.
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, her music is so different. Like, do we call it folk? Do we call it rock and roll? Do we call it, I mean, what is it that makes it jazz? I mean, does it need to have horns? Does it need to have piano or a certain type of rhythm or something like that? I mean, not that I don't really, I'm not really sure how we, assign something as jazz.
All right, Dave.
Well, jazz musicians, of which we know a lot, don't agree on what jazz is either.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh yeah, well, jazz is it's jazz when, and even Wayne Shorter tried to kind of explain it as sort of freedom or some nebulous thing like that. And there's always structure in jazz, and then there's improvisation based on structure, and you don't really hear much of that in Joni's music. You hear plenty of structure, you hear maybe a looseness that came along in the later years, and you hear more advanced chords than you'd get from a singer-songwriter, starting with, well, certainly on For the Roses and a little bit on Blue, but For the Roses is loaded with kind of Steely Dan-ish harmony.
Right.
Before Steely Dan got into it. So she was the precursor of that in that respect. That still doesn't make it jazz, but it does make it kind of more forward-looking for what was by then turning into pop rock.
Right.
And, and she had Tom Scott
Mm-hmm.
on that record, and then subsequently on later records, and did have horns, and so there's a huge difference between Ella Fitzgerald, Chick Corea, and Albert Ayler. I mean, they're all considered jazz, but there's no obvious relationship between them. So so it's a pretty big umbrella.
Right.
And I think obviously by the time Joni did Mingus, it was real jazz, but she was really hanging on by her fingernails, because it was a very it was beyond just dipping her toe into the pool. By then she was having to sing these incredibly hard melodies and negotiate these chords that were miles beyond what she herself had done. They were what her harmony was advanced for rock and rollers, but it was nothing compared to what Herbie and Chick Corea,
Right.
that's where they live, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're working up a Sweet Sucker Dance right now to do
Right. I love
in
that.
Scotland, and it's just harder than shit. I mean, it's
I bet.
and I'm a good player, but it's fucking hard on the guitar, I tell you. So there's a certain complexity usually to jazz that kind of scares away people. Go, oh God, jazz is so hard. Well, yeah, it can be, because you're kind of searching for colors that are not unique at this point, but in the 60s they were unique, or the 50s. Bill Evans kind of chords, and and then you had Miles, who was stretching the form instead of just stating the melody and then solos and then state the melody, which is the traditional jazz form. You had Miles just blowing the shit apart, so you just had kind of something sketched on a napkin that was all the musicians had to work with, was a phrase.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's how Kind of Blue was done. On the other hand, the next album was Sketches of Spain, which was this elaborately orchestrated, note for note, full-on composition, right? Based on, so that's also jazz,
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's very hard to pin down what jazz is, but it's kind of like it when you hear it.
Right. Right.
But it also has to do with phrasing. We were re-listening to Song to a Seagull today, and her thing was so perfect and so immaculately formal, but later on she abandoned all the intricate picking and went for more of the percussion, slap and strum kind of thing, and then her phrasing became a lot looser, much more kind of Marvin Gaye, and a lot blacker. And that was her growth, and I suppose you could say that was a move towards jazz.
Okay.
But not, it's not like specific any one thing. It's not like, oh, saxophone's got to be jazz.
Right. Right. So, I think, well, I hate to go off on a tangent, but you think about a song like Cold Blue Steel and Sweet Fire, and the way she played that, I kind of thought that was like very jazzy, but
I'd certainly call that blues.
yeah, totally blues, yeah. But, I mean, one of the things that I guess stands out with us playing in the band I'm in now is that the horns really make it pretty jazzy too. And she brought in the horns with Tom Scott and Court and Spark and Hissing a Summer Lawn. So
Yeah,
they had jazz. They had a lot of. I thought they were jazzy songs.
they were, and
yeah,
but it wasn't until, I mean, she didn't know any jazz musicians for a long time, right? The only people she knew were the CSN kind of crew.
Right.
And so by the time that she brought in Tom Scott to play on For the Roses, she at least knew one person.
yeah,
And when Tom invited her to the Baked Potato to hear LA Express, she then goes, oh wow, this could work. I could hire these guys. But it's not like she was steeped in jazz or knew jazz musicians before that.
right. It's true.
So, she grew up in the 40s, so, her parents would have been playing big band music.
Yeah,
Her
definitely.
father was a trumpeter.
Yeah,
Yep.
so she was certainly had jazz in her background, and that's important to remember because I know, like Bob, you're kind of down on the orchestral stuff that she did in the end, but that's where she came from, from what her parents would have been playing in the house was strings and orchestration.
Right.
Well, I guess in fairness, the collection's called Joni's Jazz. So in Joni's mind, this is Joni's Jazz,
Yeah.
and I bought it. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, one other thing, I think that Rhino Records, and I don't know this for sure, but I imagine in order to get her to open her vault would have given her a pretty hefty advance. And in exchange, she would have had to not just open the vaults and to let them have everything, but also be enthusiastic about promoting it.
right.
And so, she's probably got paid up front for all this stuff, and they're trying to recoup it.
All right.
Hey, Jahida. Hi, Jahida.
Well, welcome, Jahida.
Yay.
Perfect timing. We are wrapping up our Joni's Jazz. Quick recap.
Hello.
Any final thoughts on Joni's Jazz before we move on?
I love hearing all of demos actually, and coincidentally, Dave knows this, but it really got me thinking about what songs she considers jazzy compared to like what we would, and I'm thinking like, how can we get it to be even jazzier? Like songs that I may not have considered jazz, but like, can we make it even jazzier kind of thing, So for Joni Fest, Dave and Robin and I are going to work on a song together. I'm not going to say what it is unless you already told everybody, but I'm not going to say what it is because I want it to be exciting
reveal
surprise or something. A reveal, exactly, a reveal. So yeah, but I liked it. No offense, am I shelling out that amount of money for songs that I can listen to otherwise? No, because I am a broke bitch. So
Jahida, we're all a little broken in one way or another.
yeah, I'm broke and broken. It's
Broken.
By the way, your camera's off, Jahida.
I know, I'm driving.
Oh.
All right. Well, we have come together today to fulfill a request of our viewers and our listeners. People say, can you go back and do Song to a Seagull? You're just getting the podcast started. Bring the iconic Joni panel. So many of us are here. It's hard to all coordinate, but thank you all for coming. We are going to go back just for this album. Robin. Oh.
Hey,
All right.
Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Robin.
I'm in the
Hey.
Hi, Robin.
room, so I'm listening.
As always.
Robin.
She's doing yoga on the floor.
Oh, I love it.
My back's kind of tight, so
Namaste.
Namaste. We are here to discuss
I'll come
Song
back.
to a Seagull, Joni's first album with the classic panel. Bob and Mark were here for the first discussion, but it's so good to have I just love you all. We really got to know each other over the years. We did some stuff in person, so let's go. Let's go back to the beginning. Was anybody here a Joni fan when this came out and bought it? Right? Okay, Richard. That's just like the Emmylou Harris podcast. Richard was there.
Richard is the original gangster.
This is the copy I bought in 1968
Wow.
at the Soul Shack at 12th and G in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And I had been waiting for Joni's first record for a long time.
So you were familiar with her from her songwriting with other people?
I knew her songs from Ian and Sylvia and Buffy St. Marie. Tom Rush's Urge for Going had been on the radio as a 45. And I was really anxious to hear her first record. Of course, I was a Judy Collins fan too.
Right.
And when I was also a subscriber to Sing Out magazine, so I bought a I wrote away, got my mom to write a check. I mean, I was 13 when this album came
Oh
out.
wow!
I'm 70 now, but
What do you-
Welcome to it. As another 70-year-old, I say yes.
yes. So, in Sing Out magazine, there was a little display ad from Gandalf Publishing Company. So you could write away and get lead sheets for Joni Mitchell's songs.
Nice.
And I did, and they never came.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no!
And this is before she had a
terrible.
record. She was before she had a record. So,
The original Joni money grab.
No.
well, it was. I think that was Chuck's operation. They'd probably split up, and the publishing may have gone.
Gandalf Publishing probably didn't have an office, or nobody could figure out who gets the money.
Right, right. And
So-
these are published by. I don't remember. You know it's original because it's got the Reprise Steamboat on it.
Yes, that's great.
So Richard, I had to ask. You buy this album. You're a fan of her songwriting. What did you think the first time you heard it?
Oh, I loved it.
Okay.
I mean, it had everything I wanted. It was thematic, had the city side and the seaside side.
Hmm.
And I was getting really pretty good at guitar by then, so I was detuning my guitar, and because I could hear what she was, particularly on Cactus Tree, a song that I learned very early.
Wow, that's great.
I wrote about that in that that thing that Lisa Sonberger did.
So, we've covered this before, but Joni Mitchell, already an established songwriter, she really could have done a debut album with all the hits. And she really, instead did this album, which is kind of a risky way to start off a career full of risks. The album could have opened with Both Sides Now. Instead, you had this theme. The cover art was very ornate, very swirly, which really reflected kind of her guitar playing and styling, which she really pared down by the time of Clouds, both in her visual and her audio work. So, does anyone else have any general thoughts about the album?
I
Okay,
didn't
Chris.
even know it existed
Well,
for quite a while after I started listening to Joni Mitchell.
Really?
consider this. We're calling it "Song to a Seagull." I mean, there's this much confusion about it. If you look at both the spine of the album and the later edition CDs, even they just say Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, it was just Joni Mitchell. Yeah.
It's like they completely missed.
They
The
cut the
artwork.
cover off. See that? You
They
can't.
cut. You can't read it. You can't read it.
Richard, what was the album known as when it came out? Joni Mitchell or Song to a Seagull? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I mean, I saw the Song to a Seagull on there, and it was one of the songs on there.
What's it say on the label of the album? Just
Oh, it
curious.
says Joni Mitchell.
Okay, so really the album's called Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, it says Joni Mitchell, produced by David Crosby.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw her in '68 too. Like, I went to see her at the Cellar Door in Thanksgiving week of that year.
Tony saying that about you, Richard.
All right. Further general thoughts about this album before we start diving into the songs.
Well, this was also the first album I ever had too.
Wow.
Technically, wasn't my album. Actually, it was my dad's.
Okay.
But I had listened to hits because I think I've mentioned this story before about the first time I heard Joni was from one of my elementary school English teachers who was like, "Oh, I think you would really like this person," because he was like, "Have you ever heard of her?" And I said, "No." And so he let me Judy Collins because that was his favorite, and then hits, and I was like, Judy Collins, but hits, and I went home with it, and I was listening to it like you couldn't even believe it. And my dad was like, "Oh yeah, so I got one of her records right here." And it was "Song to a Seagull," and I played that all the time, like just constantly. So it was a huge part of my Joni kind of beginnings. And so yeah, I think it's a really important album, and it was such a beautiful looking album.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I grew up in the '80s, right? So it was 80s stuff was all about the flash and the photography, and you know, not as much of the art. And I just loved looking at my dad's old records because I would spend hours just poring over it because of the art that was in so many of them. And you know, and the liner notes, reading the liner notes, you know, and finding all these little like kind of inside jokes and things like that. So yeah, I mean, you know, Song to a Seagull was definitely like, the more you stared at it, the more you were like, oh, look at this and all that. And then to find out that Joni actually, like, you know, painted it herself was amazing. So yeah.
All right, Chris, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say overall, just in terms of its placement within the whole arc of her career, is, you know, a couple of records down the road, everyone was talking about her as quote unquote the breathy soprano. Her vocal range is so way lower here than where it went in the next few albums. It deserves, this is the same songwriter, the same performer, but there's quite a difference for how she treated her voice on this record, and I don't know. I rather like it a lot.
All right, Dave.
Well, I think that's true, Chris. If you're thinking of I Had a King, but having just listened to Song to a Seagull and Pirate of Penance, nah, she had the range too. She could sing low, but she could sing extremely high too.
No doubt, Dave. She's got the upper range. It's there, but she wasn't inhabiting it for an entire chorus or an entire verse, even the way she did in on Ladies of the Canyon. She's in a completely different sphere.
So my general remark about this record has to do with its time in the zeitgeist of 1967, Summer of Love, right? It's all about, you know, hippie culture. It's about Vietnam heating up. It's about, I mean, this is what's going on around her. There's riots and in Chicago, and you know, Martin Luther King killed the next year. There's all this violence going on in the country, and none of that seems to make an impression on this record. It seems to float outside of time. And I think that's kind of one of its qualities. It's not grounded in the 60s. That's just kind of like White Rabbit or something, which is obviously, you know, a druggy thing. It's obviously Haight Ashbury. This just kind of floats above it. I'm thinking of like Sisatobo Lane and Michael from Mountains. It's this kind of dreamlike, I once called it, it's like you're bathing in amniotic fluid. It's you know, you're in this kind of womb of warmth, and yet there's certain things that give away the era, like the reverb, you know, which was typical of that time. But other than that, the music itself is kind of super advanced guitar wise, and you know, just not blues based, and it wasn't based in mimicking Bob Dylan or anybody else that was going on at the time. It's just kind of, I mean, it's a cliche to say it was unique, but it really is pretty unique.
Yeah, for sure.
And go ahead, Stu, and then David.
Yeah, the thing about Song to a Seagull is that Joni had been writing songs and playing them in clubs for, you know, a couple of years before she got her contract. And a lot of these songs were from those initial, you know, the like, she didn't put Both Sides Now on this album, but what she would do is she would have themes. and she always wanted her albums to have like a theme, and a lot of these songs, it's not really the same type of thing as Clouds or even Ladies of the Canyon, because she did intricate finger picking on all of these songs when she was playing in the clubs and everything. They were all in these families of tunings, like Michael from Mountains and I Don't Know Where I Stand are in the same tuning. Marcy and Nathan Lafreniere are in the same tuning. And I think that she wanted a certain like the theme was I've been to the city and now I'm at the seaside. I can't remember how she said it, but it was like, she wanted these songs to relate to the time that she was writing them, I think. And I first heard this album when I was about 15. It was the year of Court and Spark, and I was listening to Court and Spark on the radio, and I was listening to Blue for the first time. And I went up to Seneca Lake to visit my aunts. And my aunts were like the cool hippie older ladies who I looked up to, They're probably in their 20s, And I went into one of their bedrooms and they had their turntable there, and right on the top with playing it was Song to a Seagull. And I went, "This is a Joni Mitchell album." And she goes, "Yeah." And I didn't even know this album came out. And then I found out that that was the first album, and then Clouds and Ladies of the Canyon. All three of those albums I hadn't listened to yet. So they gave me the album. I was so happy.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I mean, I really think that she came out fully formed. I mean, she's not one of those people who like she was so professional as she came up, and her songwriting was so exquisite, that it's just amazing. How, people were going to like, I'm so jealous that, that you saw her before the album came out. I mean, that's just like crazy. I mean, I would have loved to have been in those clubs in those days to watch her on stage by herself and play those songs.
I didn't see her before it came out. I saw it after it came out.
Oh, okay. All right.
This came out March of '68, and it was November of '68 when I saw it.
Wow.
Now
That's amazing.
Just for a quick context, then we'll do David and Mark. Both sides now in Circle Game are big parts of her repertoire by this part in the live shows.
Oh, yeah, right.
But all those like hit songs, Urge for Going, could have been on this first album. So I know I already said that, but damn, like what a body of work she had at this point.
Well, it didn't fit her theme of, I've been to the city and now I'm at the seaside type of thing, I mean, she had those songs on there for a specific reason, so they came on later, probably because people were begging her to put them on an album.
On the album.
All
right, David, then Mark.
Yeah, this is kind of in response to Dave's comment about it not being of the time, 67, 68, but it seems to me really of that time in a way. Because it's got this hippie ideal thing going on. And it is, the city versus the country, and all the city ones are kind of, Michael from Mountains has to leave the city, and Nathan Lafreniere, the city is and all of the seaside ones are very, the Seas Hotel, Belle Lane, Commune, fixing the pump in the rain and stuff. Right. So it does seem to me really kind of in a lovely way. I'm not putting this down at all. It seems to really embrace a hippie ideal that doesn't embrace so much the politics of the time, but that's all. I'm going to stop talking.
I feel it's kind of like the romance of the time a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark, Richard, then Chris is the lineup.
Well, Dave mentioned that her guitar playing was very advanced at this time, and that's one thing that really, really struck me about this record was the guitar. And I had been very much into vocals. I like to sing. I still do. And so I was really into the vocals and the words, and that was what I would listen to on the radio. And I really wasn't paying that much attention to the guitars, which I suppose for my generation was like a sin or something. But this one, the guitar is so beautiful. I mean, I think I could just listen to the guitar tracks and really love it. There was something else I was going to say, and now I don't remember what it was, so I will shut up.
I'll jump back in if you remember. All right, Richard, then Chris.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there are the two songs, Michael from Mountains and Song to a Seagull, were familiar to people from other people's recordings.
Okay.
Okay, so from Judy Collins for Michael from Mountains and Buffy St. Marie for Song to a Seagull.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But it seems like, having been interested in her and I was a really young folkie and expecting her, to come out with a record that might be like the ones by the other folk singers that I liked. I was actually surprised that by the time it was 1968, that it did kind of turn out to be that. I mean, it is, acoustic with her voice pretty much. Stephen Stills plays bass on Night in the City, and that's about it in terms of and the Banshees.
The Banshee, yep.
Right.
I remember the other thing I was going to say, and I think David may have mentioned this. By the time she released this record, by the time it was recorded, she had material enough for probably 2 or 3 albums.
Yeah, for sure.
She had been writing, she'd been touring, she had out on her own. I mean, she went out on her own, and it was great. It was incredible.
Also, though, about 68, I mean, by the time 68 comes around, I mean, this record comes out before the Martin Luther King assassination, about a month before. And, but by the time, summer of 68 is coming out, you're getting like the band. I mean, you're getting kind of a backlash to psychedelia and hard rock kind of among fans as well. Because I was a huge fan of Jefferson Airplane, but then this comes along and it's, so it seems like that it might not be that out of touch with directions in popular music for 68.
All right, Chris.
Well, I have two things. Well, first, I want to respond to what Mark said. Yes, I completely agree with you. And as somebody who doesn't really sing, I listen to all of her work as it's instrumental, and it really is very rewarding. But what I wanted to say was, with regard to the zeitgeist, what we have learned, or what we know about from reading her, from studying her, from watching her, and talk about, her early life and how she, revisited this in the archives as well. Think of what she's lived through to this point and how it reflects what we hear on it. The loneliness of Eastern Rain is in this record. There's other pieces that, by this time, she's written Little Green, she's written Circle Game, she's performed those other heartbreaking songs that we knew she learned and toured with. So for her to have taken, well, all right, now what have I wrought from that body of work to decide on this particular collection of tracks, I think is really the ability to self-edit is very difficult, and the fact that she made these choices for these songs, I think is very, very telling. And with regard to the zeitgeist of it all, I don't think it was far away from what she really did grow up with, which was the knowledge that there might very well not be a tomorrow, that the nuclear age had wrought that, and this was something where she was responding to a world where an entire generation was just insular to themselves and trying to live the best life they could.
All right. Bob.
And just a quick comment. I mean, it kind of established Joni as a rule breaker from the start, because if you look at most artists, say Tracy Chapman, Counting Crows, they're on the road for 5-6 years, honing their craft, writing songs. They finally get to the studio, get a contract to record. They have 40-50 songs to choose from. They choose all their best stuff to put on that first record. Whereas Joni said, okay, I've got all these new songs I'm really excited about. That's what I want to work on. That's what I want to record. So it was really strange. I mean, and my business acumen side says, yeah, there's a lot of bad decisions on this record. In terms of, if I was a manager, I'd say, yeah, don't do that one, do this. Don't do that one, do this. Let's start out with a couple of hits, make you popular, and then you get to experiment a bit when you already have an audience. So, whether it's not good or good is left to each one's opinion. But it was extremely different from what the usual pattern is.
Yep, it definitely established Joni as Bart going to her own drum from the beginning.
Sure.
Does anybody want to touch on anything about the cover artwork before we go into the song by song? Dave.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering if anybody knows, is there a particular seaside that she went to? I know sailing with Crosby, but I'm just wondering. I don't think of Joni's biography as including this. I'm going off to the land for a while now.
Well, she was living in New York at the time, right?
Yeah.
So she might have gone to Jones Beach or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Could have been Florida too.
Oh, yeah. Florida, right? She was with Crosby too, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Weren't they on his boat?
But she didn't actually abandon the city to join a commune in the Alleghenies or anything, right? No, I didn't think so. All right.
Does anyone want to touch on the cover artwork at all before we go into the music?
I just want to throw one thing out, and that is that the song "Marcy," "Window Shopping in the Rain," was also known as the Study in Red and Green,
right,
or something.
Well, I think it was Portrait of Red and Green.
Portrait in Red and Green, and the if you look at the umbrellas, she's holding a red one, and the photographer's under a green one. And this location, I believe, I was told, was just south of Houston Street on Mercer Street, and it, of course, looks nothing like this anymore.
It's the freewheeling Bob Dylan.
All right, well, let's go into the track-by-track discussion. The first song on the first Joni Mitchell album, if someone sat down, there's like a 13-year-old out there that's on Spotify right now, and he's going to start off, he or she, or they, are going to start off with Joni Mitchell's discography from song 1. I Had a King is a song that starts it all.
Yeah.
What are some people's thoughts on this song? I mean, I love every song on this album. I'm just going to play the role of the host and say, I love this one, and then you guys are going to give all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Chris.
Mark, this goes right to your comment earlier. The guitar work and the and instrumental. There are church bells tolling during this song in her guitar work. Boom, I can't go back there anymore. Boom. And all my keys won't fit the door. Boom. She's, again, regular, like a church is absolutely melancholy bell. And it's not a high-pitched one either. This is a really somber song. Really is. I adore it. I think it's an absolutely beautiful poem. I think it's exquisitely crafted all the way through, and that's even before the lyric starts, even before the poem begins.
It was interesting because the remixed version that came out a few years ago added a guitar figure that wasn't in the original mix.
Really?
Yeah, just a little part in like the pre-chorus, I think.
Hmm.
Does anyone else remember that? Because
I don't. I mean, now I gotta listen to it.
we all listened to it like one time, probably.
Is that on the first archives? No, on the second archives. I can't remember which.
It's like in the box set that were like the reissue of the actual albums.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. A little shout out, Mama Cass. Someone put that in the group chat. A version of the song was beautiful. Okay, Dave.
Yeah, I think it was the Lloyd Weitzel book that came out about 12 years ago, 15 years ago, that really talked at quite a lot of length about the metrical structure of the lyrics and how ingenious they are. You know, this was Joni at her most formal, you know, where the internal rhymes are amazing, and you know, shirt and curtain, and you know, it's just so clever how that was a different song, but you know, this album is full of very clever rhyme schemes and internal rhymes, and so right out of the gate, she's establishing herself as a very strong lyricist, even though she wasn't to continue in that vein later on. She was, going to loosen up pretty quickly, but she was sort of demonstrating her guitar prowess and her vocal prowess and her lyric lyric writing technique, and just everything was sort of like how you would do your debut album. It's like, here's how good I am.
Right.
I mean, when you listen to that first verse, you know, she's in the low range, but then when she starts climbing the melody up, like the melody of the song is just so exquisite, and it just captures you from the first listen. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And, the thing that I really love about a song like this, it's incredible. And she has a lot of songs like this that really explain the emotion that she's putting out there with not only the lyrics, but also the way the guitar sounds too. I mean, the chords in this song are so beautiful, and she finger picks it so beautifully. And, just playing it is, you get right into the whole emotion of, what the betrayal was, of her and Chuck's marriage, and I love the story that, what's her friend's name? Malta, or I can't remember her name. Malka, yeah, tells about being at one of those cafe performances when she played this song, and she basically, decided, she could feel that she wanted to leave her husband too. I mean, it was like it just spoke to what she was feeling at that point, and she never forgot it. It was just so, just a poignant story.
I read
I
somewhere
love that line about ladies in gingham still blush as he sings them of wars and wine.
Right.
It's like classic what folk songs used to be about, right?
Right. It was a good put down, right?
Yeah, it was
Kind of saying
excellent.
that he was old fashioned, and nobody really cared,
But her and her leather and lace.
Yeah, right.
Could never become that kind.
Yeah,
so
dressed in drip dry and paisley.
She told that story about leaving Chuck, and how she was in some late night cafe or something and asked some guy, "Do you want to help me go move out of his apartment?" And I read somewhere that when Chuck Mitchell came home and found that she was gone, he changed the locks on the doors of that apartment.
Yeah.
Wow.
My key don't fit no more.
My keys don't fit the door.
Shit.
Does that mean that she came back?
Yeah, can you picture Joni trying to, damn, this damn key won't work.
She must have forgotten a pack of smokes.
Wearing her leather and lace. David.
Yeah, what you were just saying about the keys. As I was rereading these lyrics, like over the past couple of days, it made me think. So many of her lyrics are really based, on something that actually happened. And I'm thinking, was his car rusty? I mean, did he have was his Volvo rusted out, his salt rusted carriage? And I just love the way, he probably did have drip dry and paisley.
And he had brown paint too. Remember at Bob Fest, he told us that he actually had brown paint to paint the walls.
Yeah.
Didn't he, Bob? Am I remembering that wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. And of course, this would have been in Detroit where I was born. And the wintertime, they pour so much salt on the street, like in Ithaca, I guess.
Yeah, right.
It rusts out the bottom carriage of these cars. And I think it was an MG that he drove, where the bottom of the car had all rusted out from all the road salt.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, like even her performance, like he didn't paint the walls brown, he painted them brown. Like there's so much, she's telling so much in just how she's singing it also. It's definitely a performance. Like, she did not like that shade of brown. You can hear it in her voice.
And swept with the broom of contempt. What a line.
And that other thing about oh shoot, I'm gonna forget. I've been so bad at remembering stuff lately. But he's talking about him. They're laughing at him. Oh shoot, what's that line? I can't remember.
Gleaned with the tears of an actor.
Yes.
Who fears for the laughter sting.
For the laughter sting. Yeah. What a great line. Oh my God. It's so biting.
Was Joni actually, when she was hanging out with Crosby, was that in Coconut Grove?
Yeah.
Yes.
So she was in the Grove.
And he did have his boat there too. So when she's talking about, being on the boat and so that's
in the last verse she says, there's no one to blame, there's no one to name for the traitor here. So
Okay, come on, Joni Fest in Coconut Grove. Come on down, you guys.
That'd be great. Oh God.
Let's rent a boat. Okay, any other thoughts on I Had a King?
Just a quick mention about the covers of I Had a King.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Mama Cass.
Go on and on, because I'm the only human on the planet that cares about this. But
oh, no, you're not.
I Had a King is the most popular cover on the album. It's her 26th most covered song with 49.
Wow.
So that's all I'll say about it. I'm just going to do the numbers. I won't go into who did it and whatnot and who was the first. But, love them covers.
Oh, I want to say something about that. Andy Williams had Mama Cass as a guest. And I think it was in 1968. And he said, I'm going to take you to some place you've never been before. And she said, well, where's that? And he says, to your first solo performance on TV. And she sang, I Had a King.
Wow.
It was beautiful, too.
Yes.
I bet. She had a great voice.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to Mama Cass in a little bit.
All right. Well, moving on. Song number 2, Michael from Mountains. Go where you will go to. What is your like I said, I'm just gonna say with every song, I love that song. And then you guys are gonna do your thing. Okay, let's start with Dave.
Okay, so we were earlier on talking about jazzness, and one of the things that fascinated Joni in the early days was chromaticism, and you'd have these descending chord progressions that going down in half steps, which she never ever did later, but she did it on Clouds and she did it on Michael from Mountains. Like lovely melody and all over these descending chromatic chords. Now, it's not like she just moved a finger down a fret like that, because the chords don't work like that, but completely. But it just the daring to do that when you're surrounded by 3-chord folkies was amazing, because it was, and she, like I said, she continued to to use that. And in some of the unreleased stuff that I recorded with Christina, there's a bunch of those things too, those
yeah,
kind of
sure.
melodies. But it was something that fascinated her, was chromaticism in that particular time. And then by the time of Ladies of the Canyon, I think she pretty much moved on from that. But I love that about her. That's very ear candy to a musician.
Yeah.
Is Come to the Sunshine like that?
Yeah, somewhat,
Yeah.
but not like Rose is Blue.
Rose is Blue. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, just very weird and sideways kind of, chord progression.
We'll get to it, but Marcy does it too.
Yep, Marcy, another example. So musicians kind of perk up when they hear stuff like that because it's not what you're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what Max Bennett said when they first met Joni and she played them "Help Me," and that was going to be the song they cut first on Court and Spark, and they thought, "Wow, we're going to need some paper here."
All right, David.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to say that lyrically, this is where, for me, it's just the way that she evokes imagery in this. That's what thrilled me and thrills me still. The puddles and oil in the puddles and taffeta pattern that run down the drain and colored arranges the Michael will change with a stick that he found. I mean, that's
gorgeous.
Fucking fabulous. It's the whole image, really complex image right there. It's just beautiful. And that's going through the whole thing. Also, as a gay boy, I want to say it's lovely to hear a love song to a man. That's one of the things that certainly appealed to me about this. Good old Michael. Going up the stairs with Michael.
You might find Jeremy in the mountains. That's the next thing. All right, so we have Chris and Dave.
He was kind of a fly-by-night sort of guy, though, that Michael. I mean, he's
That's all right.
He's not gonna. His mountains have called, and he's gone.
Give me a half hour with him. That's all I need. Chris and then Dave.
This is in her discography, this is her first portrait that she's painting. She is really looking and observing this person, trying to figure them out. She's able to wordsmith it so beautifully that you can see like that moment that you were just talking about, changing the patterns, the taffeta patterns in a puddle. I mean, she understands what he's doing. He's not talking about it. She's just letting us draw conclusions in this quiet little moment, and it's beautiful. It really is. It is certainly not talking down to her audience. It's letting them breathe in this scent and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like yellow slickers upon swings, like puppets on strings. That's a good one too. Yeah, I love that.
I feel like we could do an episode where let's read the lyrics of the album because everyone's. All right, Dave.
Yeah. So David's point about the kind of accurate observation of the minute, I think is a very important point. There's a direct line from this oil slick with the poking with the stick to the chimneys reflected in Hajira,
right?
The bank in the mirror kind of thing. These are observations of a very astute painterly eye, knowing how to capture the complexity of the framing of that image with words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Obviously, she could paint it, but she could also paint it like Kratzman told her, with words, and she became excellent at that. And I think we all love those moments where she just depicts something minute flawlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you know, and
Gives you chills.
yeah, and Hajira is full of those.
Yeah.
But she was that good this early.
Yeah.
And they
Totally.
fit so beautifully with the music.
Yeah.
It's incredible how she manages that.
Mhm. She's the best, don't you know?
Just
She
asking.
is.
Well, any other thoughts on Michael?
That's me.
I just want to show a prop. This is
Oh.
my last bottle.
Oh.
I don't know
Oh.
if it means Michelle.
White or red?
It wasn't red.
Nice.
It was a red.
It
It
was.
was a red. All right. Was there taffeta patterns in your wine glass?
I drank it too fast.
Oh shit! All right, moving on. Track 3 of the album, "Night in the City." Now, I got this album when I was a teenager. I just remember I told the story in the first damn podcast, so I'll be brief. All the shit I had to say, I said the first time. I'm gonna let you guys talk this time. But I remember growing up in Fredonia, New York. After the winter, there's that first day where you open the window and it's spring, and you can let the air come in. I just remember one winter ending, opening the window and just playing "Night in the City" as the air came in for the first time.
Wow.
The
That's
future
beautiful.
just felt so alive, like, and it was like my life was a big adventure after that. So
Wow.
I just always loved the song. When you guys are in the car, do you do the main vocal or the echo when you're singing along? I do the echo. All right, "Night in the City." Who wants to start talking about this one?
Open D, Capo 5.
Oh, we need to do Michael from Mountains covers though, Bob.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's close to "I Had a King." It's her number 34, 34th most popular cover. It's been done 43 times. Of course, Judy Collins started the ball rolling, back with Wildflowers.
That was Michael from Mountains. She did.
Yeah.
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 I was a shitty host and I forgot to call him Bob. Jeremy sucks. All right, "Night in the City." We have Steven Stills on bass. We have some piano. Who's playing the piano there?
That's Joni.
Oh, that's Joni? Okay, Dave, take it away.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that the way the piano was done was they slowed the tape down to half speed, and she played it an octave lower.
Wow.
Now this is the same technique that the Beatles used on the harpsichord solo that George Martin played on, was it "In My Life"?
Yeah.
Right? And it gives an instrument this very jangly toy piano kind of sound. Now Joni wasn't a very good piano player yet, and she was, so to be a boom, but if you played it at that speed and then sped it up, double speed, it would come out exactly like we hear. So I'm pretty sure that that's how that was done, and that was a well-known technique after the Beatles had done it a couple of years earlier. So just from a production standpoint, I would put money on that's how the piano was done. Also, my other point about the piano is I think there are very few songs that she played piano and guitar on. "Sweet Bird" was one of them, but I think this may be the only other one.
Interesting. Cool. Dave, was the reason for recording in half speed is that she couldn't play it in the normal tempo?
Well, yes and no. Of course, I don't know this for sure, but
Sure.
but yes, it's like working with MIDI when that first came along. Oh, cool, we can slow this down and get it right, and then speed it up. It made everything a lot easier to pull off. In the days of tape, you only had the option of half speed, so which meant that everything was an octave lower. So you would play the piano part at half speed, down an octave, and when it got put back to the normal motor speed, it would go up an octave and twice as fast. So if you give it another listen with that in mind, I think you'll hear what I'm hearing. And this is one more example of one of those chromatic. It's this half step thing that she was into at that time, with that built-in dissonance.
Yeah, the strum is really hard on this too because it's 4/4, but she does like a triplet type of thing when she's strumming.
Yeah,
and I've been trying to get that for we're playing it for the concert. So
Yeah, I would call it 6/8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5
yeah,
6.
right, yeah.
It's got this. You can of course count that as 1 2 3 4,
Right.
but it would probably be written as 6/8.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I've been working it out with Lauren and Sung, and they've been really helping me with it. I think it's going to come out pretty good.
I played that in standard tuning at the last Joni Fest with Janine Gastineau, and
Oh, nice.
it actually works perfectly in standard tuning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just open G, so it's, you can still play it pretty easily in a standard, I would think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The thing I love about the song is it truly does feel like a night in the city. Like, she's really painting a picture with the lyrics, and I just feel like I'm right there on those New York City streets with her.
Yeah.
I love it. Who else wants to talk about this one? Okay, David. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry,
though.
I tried to raise my hand and I gave you thumbs up.
That's all good.
It's not New York. It's
Toronto.
Toronto.
Oh, Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
It doesn't feel at all like New York.
No, I always thought it was New York until somebody said it's Yorkville. Hello. So it's Yorkville, which used to be the rundown hippie neighborhood, and now it's where you go for your Lamborghinis.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
shit. All right, Bob.
So in this group, I was probably the last person to come to this record when I joined the JMDL in late 97, early 98. And people were talking about STAS. I figured I better go get it and listen to it. So I didn't, I heard it 30 years after Richard did. And had all the revelations about the songs. And now I know it backwards and forwards, of course. But Night in the City, I'd heard back in the 70s because the disc jockey on WQDR in Raleigh, where I listened to music all the time, she was a huge, Jolie was her name. She was a huge Joni fan. And she played Night in the City and Cactus Tree quite a bit. Didn't encourage me to buy the record, but I was familiar with those tunes. Night in the City, of course, was the first single from this record, went nowhere. And on some of the early shows that was where she played it, she wanted to make it a sing-along. And that also went nowhere. Nobody wanted to sing along
right.
in the clubs with this song. Night in the City, look pretty to me. That didn't work as a sing-along. Like Circle Game works as a sing-along. Night in the City, not so much.
Cool.
Was her strumming a little different in those live versions, or was it pretty true to how it was on the album?
I think it was pretty true. I'm not being a guitar player. I'm not the one to ask.
I think it's Conversation I'm thinking of that was different than how it was on the album.
There's a video of her playing it on the that folk show. Remember that folk show she played with Harry Chapin? I can't remember the
Let's Sing Out.
Yeah, Let's Sing Out. So she played it, and I watched that to get the strum because she did it a little slower than it sounds on the album, but it really helped for me to watch that.
I don't know where she said it, but at some point, I don't know if it was on the archives in the liner notes or somewhere, she said that it was a fairly popular song, or sure it was when she was introducing it, maybe on one of those radio broadcasts that she performed it on. She said it was a popular song when she was doing it in the clubs.
Yeah, I would think it would be. Yeah.
If Joni was on that show, would it be just sing Ute?
Yeah, right.
All right. Any other thoughts on Night in the City? Dave?
I would have left off the bass.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that it supplied anything that she isn't already supplying.
Yeah, you're probably, you're right. Yeah.
She's got the nice piano part, she's got the nice strumming and the great double melody with the echoes and stuff. The bass is clunky and basically hanging on one note the whole time too. Because the song is based around a pedal point. So, yeah, I think it was like they were friends. So, Steve, come on, you want to play on my record?
And it's pretty high in the mix, too, I feel like.
Yeah.
Bob?
Well, maybe they saw that as the single and they said, well, let's get Steven to throw some bass on there and fill out the sound a little bit to maybe give it a push. I don't know. But I agree with you 100%, Dave. It doesn't belong there, and it doesn't add anything to the song that's not already there.
Like John Lennon said to Joni, put some fiddles on it, right?
Well, it's the only thing with bass on it, so it sticks out on the record, kind of like a sore thumb.
I like that little bit that comes before the chorus, though. That doom 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 doom. Night in the city looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little waltz before she gets back into the shuffle again. Yeah. What? Oh, I feel like there's an elephant in the room a little bit, which is in later years, Joni was a little less charitable toward the production of this record, and didn't have the kindest things to say about David Crosby's input in how it went down. I know there have been subsequent re-releases that ostensibly cleaned things up to some extent, to the point where I guess she was comfortable enough to think, oh, it's restored somehow. I haven't really been down that hole yet to compare. Has anybody compared this album to the later release that would have followed after the remix, or that she? I know Dave worked long and hard on it, and his sounds really fine, actually. But has anybody found anything earth-shattering, though, in her official release?
Dave, do you want to take this one away?
Well, it was Matt Lee that she had do the mix and gave him access to the 8-track. I got to know him a bit because we talked on the phone quite a bit, but he was very stoked to get that opportunity to do it. And I joked with him about the Banshee. I said, "Can you make sure the Banshee's lower?" You know. And he laughed a lot at that because I think that's probably the 100th request for that. Yeah, when it came out and I listened to the new remix of it, I'm going, oh, that didn't really change anything. It's just, it's different, but it's not better.
Right. That's how I felt too.
And, that's one of the things in mastering and mixing is you can always make something different, but does it necessarily make it better? And I think there's a lot of misleading information about this record that, it was loads of tape hiss and the engineer did a bad job and they did crazy experiments singing into the piano that they shouldn't have done. I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that lore comes from, but I was kind of very pleasantly surprised to find that the original source tape is pretty clean, and it's this is a couple of years before Dolby noise reduction was introduced, so all analog recordings had hiss on them, but not excessive. And the thing that was a little amateurish, and this is literally the only thing, is that Joni was not used to being in a studio yet. So she would look down at her hand playing guitar and then look up at the mic, and so she's on mic and then off mic and then on mic, and so the way you would typically do it these days is you record the guitar part and then take your time over the vocal, cutting that separately and with a compressor and a nice vocal booth and everything, so you'd have a very consistent, very smooth vocal. Well, this was all probably done in a few hours, this album, and with her playing live. So I don't think she quite had the mic technique yet to be able to do the vocal on axis without turning her head away, because there are some phrases that are kind of disappearing, and then there's some that are too loud and back and forth like that, which a good producer would have caught and said, we need to keep your head a bit less mobile. So I think there's a couple of that is an example of maybe a slightly unprofessional thing, but the music just kind of outweighs all of that.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Night in the City? All right.
39 recordings of it, her 38th most popular cover.
Cool. Who's your favorite, Bob, of all the covers?
Night in the City, that was a cappella group from about 1969 or 70. I forget their name, and unfortunately, my database website crashed tonight, so I wasn't able to access it for any additional information. But it's it's a real kind of a jazzy night in the city, for a cover for me is fun when they take it to a whole different place. I don't need somebody to remake what the original artist did. Sure. That's boring.
All right. Well, the next song, if you didn't hear it on the Song to a Seagull, you can hear it on Joni's Jazz. Marcy. Any thoughts on Marcy?
I love Marcy.
Well, Marcy loves you too, Richard.
It was about my favorite song. Well, that and Cactus Tree are my favorite songs on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Marcy is just, I feel for her.
And once again, what was the original working title of the song?
Portrait in Red and Green.
Yeah. And of course, wonderful lyrics. The red and green, really clever how it weaves throughout the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And based on a friend she made when she was in London, is that right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Because there's some live versions where she tells the story, right, of the song.
Yeah.
She used to do it as a medley with Nathan LaFreniere a lot too.
Yeah.
So the end of the album is something she did in performance.
All right. Further thoughts on Marcy?
More great rhyme scheme. I love the curtain with shirt and.
Yeah, right.
That's a clever rhyme. She must have been kind of thinking, "Oh, that's a good one," But these are not throwaway lines. She was just careful about everything back then.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the last line in the album where she said she's going to head west again? It's interesting because you can just kind of see her walking away. The way the song just trails off.
Right.
Beautiful. Chris.
This is, again, it's a portrait of a woman alone who is navigating this very impersonal place in relative anonymity. The people who, is anybody really close to her? No, everyone's kind of observing her. They're talking about her, when she's not around. They're noticing her, what's missing in her life, but nobody's reaching to solve her problem. They're giving her the space. There's a whole kind of social covenant that's described in this set of people who, someone thought they saw her Sunday window shopping in the rain, and then someone else said there's some people are talking about this woman, but no one's really close to her. And that kind of loneliness and aloofness is going to show up all through her career. It's coming back in so many ways, so many times.
Yeah, no one's engaging.
And the emotion in the bridge is also really, kind of like takes your heart out,
Yeah.
And summer goes, falls to the sidewalk like string.
Oh, she does that live. She does that live version where she holds those notes.
Yeah. It's almost like she's circular. She's circular breathing in a way. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, David.
I just kind of wanted to say maybe what Sue said, but with the lyrics, I just summer falls to the sidewalk like string and brown paper. That's fabulous. And the days fading in dusty gray attics and cellars like magazines. And that's just fabulous.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Mhm.
All right. Any other thoughts on Marcy before Bob wraps us up? All right, Bob.
28 covers of Marcy. It's her 47th most popular cover. So I mean, these first 4 songs have been pretty well done. You know,
Mhm.
And how many was it, Bob?
28.
28. Okay. All right. Well, friends, it is Banshee time. It is time for the. It is Banshee time. We are in Nathan. We are in the world of Nathan Lafreniere. So a very different character sketch than our friend Michael from Mountains. Chris, start us off.
All right. What she describes, the cab ride she describes, if you've taken a cab to an airport in New York City from Manhattan, you drive past graveyard after graveyard after graveyard. All the highways that take you to the airports all pass through graveyard. There's one in particular, a large one called Calvary Cemetery, which you can see from the Kosciuszko Bridge. You can see it from the Long Island Expressway. You can see it from the Van Wyck Expressway. It is enormous, and it's the ghostly garden. It is, it is, and you can really kind of sense that day. It's noisy. It's maybe rainy. It's, there's pressure to make a flight somewhere. There's, traffic. There's, it's this cacophony which is why I can understand why they made the decision they did to, have the Banshee quite that loud, because there are sonic things you wish would go away in such an experience, and I think she wanted to communicate that. But the imagery is real. It's nothing more than what she describes, really. Mm-hmm. Not much more. She does it well.
It's
in the tunnel, tiled and turning. That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
Through the
The
tunnel,
aging
tiled
cripple
and
selling Superman balloons.
Right.
Ooh, this song is so haunting, and I will say on record, I actually love the Banshee. It doesn't bother me. I think it's part of the experience of the song.
Mhm. Yeah.
And when it was remastered, they turned it down a lot, and I actually missed it and prefer the original mix.
No,
All right.
please, everybody. So, doesn't this sound like This Flight Tonight, the guitar riff?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah,
I mean,
can
it
hear
sounds like the same chords,
It is the same chords. It's the same tuning, except in This Flight Tonight, the bottom string is down to a G, so that it's doubled with the other one. So, but
wasn't Hunter also the same chords?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's
Open
3
G.
songs now.
And Marcy's the
Yeah.
same.
And Marcy's the same tuning too. Yeah, it's open G.
Yeah, with a D on the bottom.
But I thought that even the chords were the progression of the chords were the same as well in Hunter as This Flight Tonight as this as well. It's there was a bit of she wasn't sure where she wanted to go, but I guess she settled here for this record.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a different album, but did Hunter basically become This Flight Tonight, or were they always 2 separate songs? Because the first time I heard Hunter, I'm like, oh, this is an early version of This Flight Tonight. That's what I always just thought.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter was on the original master sent to the record company to print, and then she had it pulled and took out Hunter, put in, last time I saw Richard, Urge for Going was also going to be on blue, and that got pulled for a trade of something else.
I think This Flight Tonight, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Urge for Going, before we run away from that, do we think that the recording of Urge for Going, that was the B-side of You Turn Me On My Radio, was recorded in this period, or was it recorded later on?
Oh, that's a good question.
Good question.
She plays it in standard tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've often wondered the same thing about that Urge for Going.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell by the recording quality?
It sounds a little bit better. I mean, I was trying to hear the guitar. I mean, I think I want to say she was using the silk and steel strings on this record that I don't know if she continued to use I don't know if I hear those strings on Urge for Going. I've tried to discern it and I'm not that good.
All right. Any other thoughts on Nathan?
He's a nasty man.
He's a nasty man. He's a nasty motherfucker.
He's got a difficult job. Come on. He's not up to the emotional labor of cab driving.
Yes,
in New York
but he doesn't
City.
have to curse her to her face.
Would he be
Bad day for Nathan.
Would he be an Uber driver now in the modern age?
Oh, I don't think he'd be getting many stars on his review.
Bob, let me guess. This was not in the top 20 most covered Joni Mitchell songs.
Now we are dropping off of the songs that have been covered a lot from this record. Yeah, Nathan Lafreniere. I mean, some of these songs are extremely personal songs for Joni. They're not songs that other artists could relate to, and sing and have any meaning. Certainly, Both Sides Now, which is now up to 1,800 covers, is a song that anybody could sing and understand. River, same thing. We've all had heartbreak. Even Cactus Tree, where we've had multiple girlfriends, boyfriends, lovers, etc. We can relate to going through that cycle. Nathan Lafreniere is a very personal, singular song. So no, it's been recorded 5 times.
Oh.
Rex Harrison's son recorded it. I forget his name, and again, I don't have access. Noel Harrison. Yeah, I think he was the first to do it. So yeah, 5 times. It's the 105th most popular Joni cover.
I always thought, between the first and the second album, I always put this kind of in the same category as Roses Blue, as the song that kind of ends the side and it's weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's
all
got
right.
the same minor chord flavor as Roses Blue, I think. Sorry.
We are leaving the city, and we're out of the city.
Nathan Lafreniere has to get her out of the city. So.
Out of the city and down to Coconut Grove. Now, there's somebody in our universe that Cecil Tobel Lane's their favorite Joni Mitchell song. Am I imagining things?
No.
Who is it?
Les.
Yep.
Les.
Yep. So shout out to Les if you're listening. I remember that. What does Cecil Tobel? Doesn't it stand for something, or am I imagining things? Or am I thinking of
somehow in spite of ourselves, we will have everlasting love, or something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, in spite of troubles, ours will be everlasting love.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, she was into that. It was kind of like a Tolkien thing she was into. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that her phrase?
What?
Yeah, that was one of her Tolkien, when she was in her Tolkien, talking about he who is fond of birds.
Sequam. Yeah,
Sequel, yeah.
She's sitting inside with a sketchbook while Noah's fixing the pump in the rain. She's looking out the window, writing all this shit in the notebook.
Gandalf got displaced by Seacombe by the time this album came out.
Yeah, she had some kind of a what's the word I want?
Lexicon.
Kind of a story about perhaps our souls are little men and
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Posalm and Mosal.
Yeah.
Maybe our souls are little ladies.
Dave.
Yeah, so guitar-wise, this tune is in the Coyote Woman of Heart and Mind tuning,
right?
And has a very kind of hip, modern sound to it, more so than the open G songs.
Right.
And as far as I know, this was the first time she used that tuning. Is that right, Sue?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite a discovery because, I mean, all the chords are sort of one-finger chords, or most of them. But because of the tuning, it sounds very cool. You know?
Oh, it's awesome. It's my favorite tuning. It's just amazing. Just like this train.
Yep.
What other songs are in this tuning?
Woman of Heart and Mind.
Coyote and Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. are both in it.
There's a lot to be said.
California tuning.
Yeah, California kitchen tuning.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means, but
It's a bastard on the guitar because you've got one string that's actually above standard tuning.
oh yeah,
and the bottom string down to a C. So it's you've got a wide range, wider range than normal, but the tension is crazy because like the D and the E string are standard standard pitch, but the B is up to a C, and then the low E string's down to a C.
I know, it's
So
crazy.
it's really hard on the neck on guitars. Those
Totally, yeah.
Totally.
I've broken many a string going into that tuning.
Somebody mentioned in the beginning of our podcast that this song kind of represented the hippie get back to the land type of thing. And it just struck me when I was trying to think about some way to describe how I feel about the guitar on this one. And it almost sounds like she's weaving or knitting something.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting is I just pulled out the Book of Joel and his list of, no, it's here. Okay, I flipped a page and didn't see it, but yes, they're all here. Coyote, Don Juan's Reckless Daughter, Just Like This Train, Ladies of the Canyon is also in this tune.
Right.
Ciso Tobel Lane and Woman of Heart and Mind.
Yep.
Damn, we're good.
And talk about flipping over a record and just getting a whole new mood with the song. You know, coming out of Nathan Love From Near, like you really do feel like you've left the city, landed on a plane, and then just went out into the country. So,
and here's that chromaticism and ba ba da ba 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 da ba. That chromatic thing that just keeps appearing in these early songs. That flat 5 is just really interesting.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, do you think that rocking chair still exists somewhere?
Can I ask about that chromatic thing?
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that would be something she would do in the 70s with I can't think of exactly what songs I'm thinking about, but she would do that a lot in the 70s in live versions of her earlier songs where she would go down a half step to the note. Does that ring a bell at all? Anyway, I'm surprised you say she didn't do it that much in her later work, because I kind of think of that chromatic playing with that half step throughout her whole.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure there are examples, but it was a feature in the first couple of records, and in some of the unreleased stuff that I've gotten to record. So it was a sensibility that she had that she, I guess, moved on from at some point. Like she did a lot. She didn't want to repeat herself that much. So she'd reuse a tuning sometimes, but her choice of grooves. I mean, it's kind of interesting that we didn't talk about this, but Night in the City is a shuffle, right? That's kind of the first time we hear Joni Mitchell play a shuffle. And that wasn't a typical kind of folk singer rhythm,
Right.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Ciso Tobel Lane?
I think it's about the last verse is about her and her parents. Like they always have a candle in the window.
Oh yeah.
For her to come home to.
Sweet.
This is such a sweet song, and right now the world is so painful. I just want to step into the song and be safe
Sweet
on that
well
porch.
water and pickling jars.
Right.
Well, Jeremy, that was like harking back to my point at the beginning about the amniotic fluid. You're kind of out of time here. You're in this safe kind of floating in this safe world here where there's neighbors and friends, and you're just kind of you're pottering and you're making muffins.
Yeah, right.
Very communal.
Go to the city, you'll come back again.
Right.
Someone heard she bought a one-way ticket and went west again.
Yeah, right.
Now, when did Joni move to Laurel Canyon?
Late 68, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So it was after this
right
album
after
was
this album, yeah.
released. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's I think it's on JoniMitchell.com. There's a review, like a recent review from like it's 2016 or something, reviewing this album, and it says it's about her moving to Laurel Canyon, but that's just not right, I don't think.
No.
Fake news.
It's, the depiction of the kind of pastoral scene does feel like Laurel Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like she's prophesizing her immediate future.
Yeah.
Well, this is describing something more like Walden Pond than
Yeah, right.
than Laurel Canyon.
Right.
Saskatoon, I would think.
They have wells. Do they have well pumps in Laurel Canyon?
Not at all.
Well, Bob, how many people covered Cecil Tobel Lane?
The same number as covered Nathan Lafreniere, a big 5.
Damn.
Wow.
One of those 5, I mentioned Mama Cass earlier. Mama Cass recorded this in the studio for one of her albums, put it on the shelf, and then released, maybe, I don't know, 15 years or so ago, a album of unreleased stuff they found on the shelf. And this song was on there. And it was a very limited edition. Of course, me being the nut I am, I'm a covers completist, more so than a Joni completist. So I bought this, the CD that had Cecil Tobel Lane on it from Mama Cass, and it's great.
Wow.
The last one that I bought, it's number 107. So Nathan Lafreniere and Cecil Tobel are like brother and sister. They were on the list. But the last one I bought was a singer-songwriter up in the Seattle area, Mark. I forget his name. I don't have access to the database. But he recorded a CD, had like 6 Joni tunes on it. I discovered about it. I couldn't find the CD. There was a guy who had it, and I emailed the guy and said, I don't need your copy of the CD. Can you make me a copy and let me make a donation to a charity of your choice? And so there was some art museum up in Seattle, or some museum that he was a member of, and he said, okay. He said, I'll send you the copy, and you donate $20 to this cause. So he sent me the CD, and it had like 5 Joni covers, including the guys recording of Cecil Tobel Lane. Pretty nice. And when somebody records a song like Nathan Lafreniere or Cecil Tobel Lane, they are a Joni fan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They know the songs. River and Both Sides Now and Big Yellow Taxi. Those are people that are okay. We know all that stuff. But when somebody records these deep tracks,
Mm-hmm.
they know and love Joni's body of work.
Mm-hmm.
Right, for
And
sure.
that's what I love.
Hey, can I just say one more thing? A nice memory I have of
Please
this
do.
song. So we used to trade tapes on the JMDL, and we had this. Remember all those Philadelphia radio shows?
Yeah,
that she
yeah,
did? She did a show with Gordon Lightfoot, right?
Right.
And so she plays Cecil Tobel Lane on this show, and after it, he goes, what are they're like chords and things that you're playing that he was flabbergasted at the noises coming out of her car. And it was just so funny because it's freaking Gordon Lightfoot, it was amazing,
And
but
no longer with us.
it just always blew my mind to listen to him talking to her about how she was playing the guitar.
All right. So now we are moving down to the seaside. The Dawn Treader. Now, like Bob, I am also not really a fan of the orchestral albums, but I do recall this being one of the successful, in my opinion, reinventions.
Amen.
Perhaps the only one I felt was
Yeah.
a successful reinvention. This is such a haunting, interesting song. This is, of course, where the Out of the City that's in Song to a Seagull, isn't it? I'm getting my songs confused. What do you guys think of Dawn Treader?
Beautiful. The chord, the tunings are gorgeous. It's just so amazing. Yeah.
Maybe
I
my
love it.
favorite Joni Mitchell song.
Of all time?
Oh yeah, I think so. I love this song.
Beautiful.
Now that, sorry, Mark, sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say the signature arpeggio in this tune is so important that when Vince Mendoza orchestrated this later on, he gave that to the harp.
Oh, beautiful.
So you're hearing Joni's guitar arpeggio played on the orchestral harp. That's how important and how significant her guitar parts were early on. There was nothing replaceable about it.
Yeah, right.
Can you hum the arpeggio for me?
I can't hum you the one on Dawn Treader very well, but because it's so angular. But if I could grab a guitar and play it for you. But this is the same tuning as I Had a King, which is...
No, it is not. It is a unique tuning. According to the Book of Joel, it is a unique tuning.
Well,
According to the transcription website, it's an open D tuning.
This is, and I quote from Joel, says...
So we have three different opinions right now?
D-G-D, D-A-D.
That's what Dawn Treader is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I Had a King is the same tuning with a capo on the 7th fret.
Right, right.
Ah, well, hold on.
Fist fight.
I had a king.
Bringing in capos.
I Had a King says capo is on the 5th fret with E, B, E, E, B, E.
Yeah, so that's the same tuning, just tuned up a whole step.
No, it's different. Wouldn't it
Fist
be?
fight.
I don't know.
Oh man, you're arguing.
Well, anyway, a lot of these songs are playable in different ways.
The website has one tablature in D, G, D, D, A, D, and
Right.
two transcriptions in D, G, D, F sharp, A, D. So
Are any of them mine? I can't remember.
none of them are yours.
And two will say that's the right one.
None of them are
Marion and
yours.
if there's one from Howard, I would say he was right.
There's not from Howard. The one in the what you say is the tuning is by Tino Minen.
Oh yeah, that guy was great. He
Yeah.
did several tunings for us.
Well, that's
Yeah.
probably the right one because I
Yeah.
didn't-
Yeah, I probably usually play his.
Now, just a quick mention, we were talking about how the song kind of exists outside of the cultural moment, but it does creep in just for a moment in the song where she's talking about a dream to love someone, a dream that the wars are done. So this is the one little moment where it kind of creeps in a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we think that this is referring to Crosby's boat?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
But she chose the name of a ship in the Narnia trilogy,
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
right? Well, that's your field, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, that's the Voyage of the Dawn Treader in the Narnia series, exactly.
So she was pulling from her own childhood memories of ships.
Yeah, I wonder what Crosby's ship was called.
The Mayan.
The
Oh,
Mayan.
that's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
But the word Dawn Treader never appears in the lyric.
Right.
So it could
The site says the footnotes on the JoniMitchell.com says it was copyrighted as Sea Dreams in February, and then copyrighted name changed to Dawn Treader in June of '68.
Wow.
But you all remember the C.S. Lewis book, The Voyage of the
Yeah.
Dawn Treader?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
well, she seems to that British fantasy seems to be what she was reading.
Yeah.
I know she wasn't a great reader, according to old Chuck, but
So there's a pub.
She was busy.
There's a pub in Oxford, which was kind of my hometown, where Tolkien and C.S. Lewis used to meet once a week.
Wow.
It's called something Stork and Child or something like that. And but there was this one booth that every Thursday or something they would read each other their latest chapter.
Wow. Oh, to be a fly on the wall.
Damn. Whew.
And it's still a pub's still there. You can go have a pint in their bench.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Take those vibes in. This is another one too where there's so much life inside of her performance. Just the way she's singing the words, and the burst of it's almost like the waves coming out of the sea through her voice. Just
It starts right out with a classic Joni alliteration, peridots and periwinkle.
Yeah, right.
And she also mentions the dream of a baby in here.
Right. Yes.
Kind of
a clue.
Yeah.
And what a great showcase for her range, because just starting off and then the way the melody just goes into the soprano. This song just blows me away.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
It's a lovely song.
Dave mentioned that arpeggio, and I don't remember what show or recording it was of the Mutts, but I wasn't expecting it, and I was listening to it, and you must have thought I was crazy because I said I started to cry. It brought tears to my eyes when I heard that arpeggio.
Well, if you want to go on our YouTube channel, Mutts of the Planet, there's a cool version that me and Robin did a few years ago of Dawn Treader, and I guess Jeremy's not able to play it without infringing on some copyright thing here, but yeah, I'd like you to hear it.
It's beautiful. So everyone, please go to Mutts of the Planet on YouTube. Pause this podcast, go listen to that, and then come back.
And one thing that struck me about the orchestral version was I think most of what's in that was in that guitar part, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that's what it might.
Most of the orchestration.
The orchestration was derived from the guitar part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful.
And that's how good Vince Mendoza is to be that respectful of the source.
And he did it again for Refuge of the Roads too.
Yeah, these are signature guitar parts that define the. Well, I guess pretty much the guitar always defines the harmony, but these are very interesting chords that you don't deviate from that without losing something.
Yeah, for sure. The most gorgeous music. I mean, I can't even believe it. Even to this day, as long as I've been listening and playing her music, songs like this one and Refuge of the Roads that are just blow me away. It doesn't get boring ever.
Yeah. So, Bob,
Even the pace of the song and the music seems to ebb and flow like waves in the ocean. It's such a brilliant match for the theme of this particular song. Since 1986, my family and I and some other friends have been going to a house in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, which is called the Periwinkle. It was originally the Periwinkle Tea Room back in the 20s. Pawleys Island was established early on, where the planters down in Charleston would send their families to escape the mosquitoes. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But periwinkle, which is a shell, was what when the first time I heard this song in 1998, I said, "Oh, periwinkle. We've been going there for a couple of decades now." But this is a wonderful, beautiful song. Every time I see that somebody has covered it, I'm beside myself with joy. And it's been covered 22 times. It's her 52nd most popular cover tune.
Cool.
On the orchestral, you don't have to show me. On the orchestral one, doesn't she say peridot?
Yeah, she does.
And Angela Gold played that at our Joni Fest.
Oh, right.
She
That's
did
great.
that and Nathan Lafreniere.
Yeah, that's wonderful. She might be the one, like when you were saying who loves Si Sota Boulain the most, I thought of Angela and Laura Stanley. I think both of them, that's their favorite song. Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. The original discussion of this album was the 7th podcast I ever did. So we're like, this is like episode 170 something right now. So I remember this song. Didn't everyone hate it on the original podcast, Pirate of Penance?
No, I did not.
Mark did not.
I loved it. I just remember like feeling like justice for the dancer. Like
I remember everybody hating it too, and I was thinking, what's wrong with Pirates and Penance? I really like it.
Me.
I like
Cute, it's pretty.
a good campy moment. You know, once again you're in the car. Which character do you guys take when you're singing along?
So I don't remember the Gilbert and Sullivan light opera very well, but I was taken to it when I was a kid. But have you all ever heard that? The Pirates of
Penzance?
Penzance, yeah.
No, I never heard it.
Well, that's the joke is
Yeah.
to Joni Penzance. Penzance is the southernmost tip of England. But what England has kind of a boot that goes down to a toe. Well, the tip of the toe is Penzance.
Oh.
And so that's Cornwall, and the pirates in the 17th and 18th century that was a big trade because they were, able to get rum and stuff from the continent and smuggle it into the country. So there really were pirates in Penzance at one time, but she, of course, with her. She was in her clever mode, and so Penzance looked like penance to her.
Mm-hmm.
Linda Ronstadt was on Broadway.
Yeah.
And they made a film of that too, and I think
It was awful. It was awful.
So my favorite thing is just thinking of Joni Mitchell sitting in Reprise Records office. Like, fuck both sides now. We're putting Pirate of Penance on the album.
She knows the answer.
She knows
Yeah, sir.
David.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing, yes, I'm on. Speaking of knowing the answer, one of the things I love about this song is that it ends with "I don't know," and all of my favorite Joni songs end with "I don't know." You know, with that open chord, and I don't know. So I really like this song. I think it's lovely. I think it's intricate, and it's just kind of cute. I
think it was her opening for I have this screenplay I'm working on.
Now the remastered version, didn't it leave off some of the echo vocals, if I remember correctly?
Oh, I can't remember.
I know we all listened to it once and then put it in a box.
So this is another song that ends on that flat 5. I don't know. So it's got this really cool Lydian dissonance against the chord, and she was just into that at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what other Joni song fits in this category? What would you put alongside this one? I feel like it's so unique in her.
Off the top of my head, I think of things from Hissing of Summer Lawns, where there are conversations kind of.
Oh,
between,
Oh, yeah, right. Don't interrupt the sorrow.
Yeah. And, they're different in many ways.
Sure.
Job's
But
sad
they've got
song.
that kind of conversation going on.
Right.
Job's sad song has the annihilators. I was going to call them.
The antagonists.
Right. I mean, it's like a little opera.
We can do a box set. We should publish a box set of songs with conversations.
Well, Free Man in Paris is kind of like a conversation, right? The way I see it, sometimes you just can't win it. You know?
There was another one.
Ugh. All right. Well, any other? It seems like Pirate had a more successful second run on the podcast than the first time around.
But it hadn't gotten any better. It's still terrible.
And that's what we're.
Tell me why it's terrible. Tell me why it's terrible, please.
The melody is totally forgettable. The story is not relatable. I mean, if it's on a CD, it's almost an instant skip. You can like it, but people like McDonald's hamburgers, and it's not good food.
Shall we talk dancing?
I love McDonald's and Pirate of Penzance.
Well, there you go. I mean, this was a terrible decision because, as we said earlier, Joni had lots of really good tunes she could have put on this record, and she could have had a nice hit off of this album. Her career obviously has been fine. She doesn't need my advice, but to put on Power of Penance, it's a novelty song.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't belong. It's only been covered one time by a French jazz musician who deleted the words, which are.
Is it on Joni's Jazz?
Yeah, yeah. No, that would actually be a nice compilation, Richard, of really good jazz covers of Joni tunes.
Yeah, right.
Because there have been a bazillion. Trust me. Jazz musicians love Joni. They love her compositional skills, and they'll take, Marcy and songs that aren't really traditional jazz tunes, but put them in a jazz style. So yeah, Power Dependence is by far the biggest stink bomb on this record.
Dude, next time we're together, let's do a duet of it.
Given the wordsmithing quality that's on this record, he'll leave you drowning in the flotsam of a broken promise in the bay. Doesn't quite measure up to the rest of it.
No, it doesn't.
So Jeff Hankins and Christina did this song at the Hollycomb. Remember, Bob?
I don't remember. I remember both of them being there, and I remember Jeff's set because he's brilliant.
Yeah, but they pulled this off, actually. It was great.
Cool.
Okay.
I could see that. I was there too.
In Hollycomb 1?
Oh, no, not the one. The one
This
that...
was 2008.
Yeah. The later one.
You know what? On the remastered, the echoes are there, but she took off some of the harmonies. So it just came back to me, if anyone wants to listen to that. Any other thoughts on the pirate, the dancer, the drama? All right. Now, Song to a Seagull. Is it the title track of the album, or is the album called Joni Mitchell? We still haven't decided that. But this is
Seagull. It's Song to a Seagull.
This is the song where she says, "Out of the city and down to the seaside." Another song. Do you know what always scared me is I'd be listening to this album, then that last chord is mixed so high in the mix. Whoa.
Yeah.
But
it's what a haunting song.
I think the melody is the greatest thing. Maybe of all the good melodies on this album, this is one of perhaps my favorite melody. It's so angular and shows off her incredible intonation just perfectly.
You can. By the way, you can use that last chord or something very similar to it at the end of "Urge for Going," and it changes the whole fucking takeaway of the song. It makes it haunting. Sorry.
I probably shouldn't say this, having just said that I like Pirate of Penance, but this song's never done it for me. And I think now that you call the melody angular, it's like, yeah, I think that's I don't like it. It just I don't know. This song has never really done it for me, and it is the jarring kind of the not very melodic melody that that doesn't appeal to me.
Chris,
I always thought this was the strongest song beyond, other than Cactus Tree. This to me was what I wanted this entire album to be like. It was personal. It was a breath of fresh air for me. I really felt like she was somehow connecting to me in a way I can't describe it. I felt like there was somebody reaching out to me. Feeling that disconnected and being able to write about it in those terms, I thought was absolutely beautiful. To the feeling of having to go and sit with relatives and people who don't understand you or otherwise was so beautifully rendered in this piece, and against the natural backdrops and her admiration for what other creatures could do. It's deep on so many levels. I think the song is fantastic. I do.
I feel this is another instance also where like a little bit of what was happening in society cracks in. Humans are hungry, and what does it say?
Worlds they can't share.
Yeah, world they can't share. And hello, here we are. How many years later? Still dealing with it.
Let me tell you that the whole city country feel of this album was like profound to a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. And I mean, I lived in the city, I lived in Washington, D.C., and my friends and I would actually run away to the country and stuff like that. So it and this song in particular was touched me very deeply, but at least, in 1968.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 years before she went back to the garden, she went back to the country.
My dreams with the seagulls fly out of reach, out of cry. That still resonates with me.
I mean, I grew up on Lake Erie, so I can just feel like just standing at the edge of the lake, just seeing the birds fly. When I hear like the song paints such a picture.
What do you make of Silly Seabird? Fly Silly Seabird.
Yeah.
Alliteration.
Well, obviously, but she sort of takes the seagull seriously enough to address it.
Yeah.
Seagull is laughing at her.
Huh?
Yeah.
No dreams can possess you.
Because it's not human, I think.
There's a great XTC song that Bob will know called Seagulls Screaming, kiss her. And it's like this boy trying to get up the courage to kiss this girl on the beach. And he feels like the seagulls are screaming at him, do it.
Yeah, I think seagulls. And I don't know anything about seagulls per se, but seagulls come off as kind of being a dumb bird, just the way they fly and land on the sand and walk around and peck at something that might be a cheese cracker, might be a shell. Who knows?
They're complete scavengers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's a seafood chain here in Seattle called Ivers, and there's one down right on the waterfront. And I used to go down there with a friend of mine when I was working for Expeditors, and we'd have lunch. But you could take your French fries and throw them out, and the seagulls would just
Oh yeah. Yep.
Just diving for those things. I suppose they did look kind of silly.
And their cry is really something. I mean, it's just, I don't know how to describe it. Ghastly sometimes.
Yeah, really.
It's not pretty.
No.
Yeah. At we went to Periwinkle on Pawleys Island. Sandpipers seem pretty smart. They know where to land and dig up the clams. But the seagulls kind of walk around like, whoa, what's that?
All right, so I'll go ahead.
I like that Crusoe's marooned in the city.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
that flipping the thing. So, and even though this seems like a pretty solitary scene, it's also a free scene, which obviously leads us into the final song on the album.
Well, Bob, how many people covered this one?
26.
26.
It's
Should be more.
49th most popular cover, so it made the top 50, which, given the number of Joni covers, which is like 160 of her songs have been covered, not too bad.
Cool.
This is not an easy song to sing.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, Buffy St. Marie had it first.
St. Marie recorded it before Joni.
Yeah. I mean, there was like 7 songs that Joni had going into the session that were done by other people, including Eastern Rain by Fairport Convention,
Right.
which Joni never put on an album.
Right.
Dave, I want to thank you for mentioning her intonation, which you did in your notes to the remaster. That's all I want to say, that her intonation is It's impeccable.
It is.
You know.
There's you just hardly ever hear a singer who can do that, even now, or especially now. Now you have got something to fix it later, but back then she would just stand in front of a microphone and could do this.
Yeah.
All right, so we are to the closing track of the album. I remember the first time I heard it, just being blown away. Cactus Tree. I mean, what can be said? What a song!
Yeah.
What a freaking song!
Yeah.
It's. I think this is her first fucking genius. Song for the ages. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Central mystery kind of shit.
I mean, here it is.
Yeah.
It is if you're a guitarist, I don't know, Sue, I find this to be such a satisfying song to play.
Gosh, yeah.
The picking scheme
amazing.
is so good. The way she changes up the rhythm all through it and back again. It is just, it's like one of those origami fortune tellers, the way it opens and closes. It's brilliant.
And a little Easter egg for us Chalkmark fans. We have our first appearance of Killer Kyle in the song, correct?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have a question.
Bleeding from the water.
Is the man who climbed a mountain Michael from Mountains?
Yes,
So yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay. All right.
So is this about the divorce papers or is this about the record contract papers?
All of them.
Various signings of papers.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
So this is a very good example of Travis picking, which was a style of picking that Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie were using, and that was one of the things Joni would have learned early on is how to do that.
Right.
And she used it throughout. I mean, she used it on For the Roses, she used it on Hajira, and this was one of her links back to her folk roots.
Right.
Was Travis picking.
Definitely.
Does Travis picking require hammering the way she does?
No, she's modified it, and there's any picking pattern that you hear people do. They usually have found a kind of their own spin on it. Like one of the things Joni likes to do is do what we call a grab. She'll grab a chord and then fill with the pattern, and that's kind of a cool sound. So you state the chord and then you fill the rhythm for the rest of the bar. But it's kind of the motor, this boom, 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 boom. The thumb is doing that. And so this is a good example of that. And one of the things I'm going to do in Scotland is give a little guitar class during the day on those kinds of techniques.
That'd be great, yeah. Well, it's funny you talk about Pete Seeger and them when she sang this song once. Right before when she introduced it, she said that she heard that Bob Dylan had written a song based on all these other lines that he had thrown out, and so she thought she would do that because it sounded like a good idea, and she got this song, and
I thought that was
it's
Mr. I thought that
it's
was
like
Mr.
so
Blue.
crazy. Do you remember that one?
That
Was
was
Mr.
Mr.
Blue.
Blue.
Oh, I thought it was. No, maybe but she did talk about Dylan before she sang the song. Maybe it was
Yeah.
that thing where she said that when Bob Dylan, when she first heard Bob Dylan, she found out that you could write a song about anything.
Yeah, it was Positively 4th Street.
Right, yeah. So I got them mixed up.
Yeah, Cactus Tree. This was no boating accident. No.
All right, so we have
mixing up my stories.
Mark and then Richard. Oh, Mark.
I think this song is absolutely audacious for its time.
Yeah.
I mean, she's writing about.
Yeah.
She's a woman writing about having all of these different lovers in different places, and up until this time, I mean, maybe in a humorous way or in a kind of sleazy way. Somebody might have done something like that before, but not like this.
No. She did it boldly.
Yes, very boldly. She did it with no shame, with very strong and but tenderly too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's an amazing song.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's interesting because it sets up a theme that would recur in her discography. You know, she's so busy being free. We love our loving, but not like we love our freedom.
Right.
So,
Definitely.
it comes
Yeah, and
back
it's
around.
interesting how she kind of puts herself down in a way by saying that
Yeah.
she's like a cactus tree, hollow,
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. It's like, why can't I just stick with one person,
Yeah.
Why but because to do that you have to go through some pain too,
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, Richard.
Well, I love this song, of course. I was one thing I wanted to say about the this is an open D or open E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open
She
E,
has-
yeah.
She learned open D and open G from like Eric Anderson and Tom Rush and those guys. And I think that started her on fiddling with the tuning knobs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of open G and open G on this, and then some of those weird tunings like on I guess Sister Tobel Lane and stuff like that. So I don't know. I had a babysitter. I asked her to show me how to Travis pick when I was young. So she did. She taught me how to do it, and this is probably the first song I ever played from this record.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out the open tuning just on my own and figuring it. So it's just it chokes me up, this whole song.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, wow. I certainly don't mean to presume anything with where I go when I hear this song. But there's a line from a Dylan song. If you see her, say hello. Is that it? Where I tell her I admired what she did getting free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She offered her daughter for, she'd given her away, and that freed her to move on and have the career that became Joni Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a lot of her beating herself up to some extent in that way, acknowledging that she is free, but also acknowledging that pain you were talking about, Sue.
Right.
And so I think this song is really meaningful in terms of this artist, in a huge way. So when you said that it was, one of the first or the most important piece, maybe on the record, I think I would agree with that assessment, that this was the first recorded piece that she delivered that really was groundbreaking for the time. And we didn't even understand all of the honesty that was in it. And to some extent, I don't know if Joni completely did either, but it's what she wrote and it's what she delivered, and it's still thrilling me to understand that kind of artistry.
It's so interesting because
That's at the Cactus Tree Motel later on. So.
Yeah.
Shower off that dust.
Yeah.
this
And
whole album.
I wonder if she actually just saw, oh, look, there's the Cactus Tree Motel. I'll stop here.
Aw.
I'm hollow like a cactus tree.
Dave.
Full and hollow.
Another moment I wanted to talk about, when Chris said about the moment, of giving away her daughter. I can't remember what book it was in. It might have been Malka's book, but she tells a story of how she's leaving Chuck, and it's like their last conversation, and she's looking at him and she says, "I'm going to be big. I'm going to be famous." And she's not saying it like, "Wow, I'm so happy." She's saying it like, I have to make these sacrifices because that's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know,
And those of us that were at Bobfest talking to Charlie knew that he supported that 100%.
yeah. He knew what she was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
After they had a very short tour of being together, and then they played separately. We played a set, and she played a set because he said I couldn't compare to her.
yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Dave.
Just from a nerdy engineer point of view, I think this song was recorded on a different day than any of the others. It's the only song that sounds like it was they used a compressor on her voice. It's much smoother and more professional sounding, and it just has a different sound than any of the other tunes.
Yeah.
I think this record was made very quickly, but I feel like this was done more carefully and maybe on a different day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an obvious. Her voice is more up front, and then the harmony vocal, which is a sixth above the melody, is nicely placed in the background, and it's well mixed, and it's just kind of more of a careful production.
Yeah. You can really tell the difference, you know. I mean, I don't really know the production like you do, but I can tell that it sounds like a different type of song than the other songs on the album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's more cohesive, I guess.
I feel like it sounds more like a record.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also sounds a little bit more like the day they recorded that Urge for Going that I was talking about. This one sounds a little bit more like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole album is great, but this is really an indication of what's to come.
Right, for sure.
If anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Bob, how many people covered this one? I'm guessing this is a little bit higher than Pirate of Penance.
Very higher, yes, by 46. It was recorded 47 times. It's the second most popular song on this record, coming in at number 28. Only I Had a King has been recorded more times from this record. And I think because, as I said before, the theme is more universal. You know, everybody that I'm looking at right now has had multiple lovers that had different things going on.
I'm a virgin, Bob.
Yeah, right. Well, the night is young, Jeremy. Go out there.
Well,
For the very first time.
thanks to my Patreon subscribers. Good night, everybody.
Touched for the very first time. The very first time today.
It's a universal theme, and it's a beautiful song. I mean, just a great song. And that last line, her heart is full and hollow like a cactus tree.
Yeah.
Always knocks me over.
Holy shit, right?
Literally knocks me on my butt.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's just so brilliant. And what a closure.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the last song is like, okay, I'll see you next album. Look out, because here I come.
I mean, she releases this album. Richard, when you bought this album, who knew like the Hijiras, the Hissings, the Turbulent Indigos would all lie in the future from this album? Holy shit. I mean, it blows your mind to really think about it. The Blue, Don Juan, all of it.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 or 7 years from this to Court and Spark.
Yes.
Is that right?
Amazing.
It's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how many years to Blue? 3?
Yeah. I can see that, kind of. I don't know.
Well, only 12 years to Mingus, and that he couldn't have traveled much further than that in a decade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Only 17 years till Dog Eat Dog, you guys. Well, I am so glad we got back together and gave this album the love and the justice that has been requested. And I just miss you all so much. This is so great. Are we going to rate the album? Any other thoughts? Closing thoughts? Before I get that 50-cent cheeseburger at McDonald's, now that Bob put that taste in my mouth. All right. Joni Mitchell, Song to a Seagull. Scale of 1 to 10. How the hell do you rate anything, Joni? I like when Paz is on here. he'd be like, "It's fucking Joni Mitchell." I don't remember what podcast that was, but we're putting down an album. How dare you? It's fucking Joni Mitchell. I wish I had more time because I would just do like the best of our podcast and do like a little compilation.
That would be awesome.
It's fucking Joni Mitchell.
There's been moments, I'll tell you.
Oh, we laughed, we cried more, we laughed more. Oh shit!
But you need the ability to sort of zoom in on somebody, like so that when somebody says something and somebody does something with their eyes, like "Auga," you have to be able to point that out.
Oh, well, Bob, let's start with you. Song to a Seagull, Joni Mitchell, whatever you want to call the album. Scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I mean, start with a 10, subtract 1 for Nathan, subtract 1 for Pirate of Penance, and you come up with an 8.
Okay, we have an 8. Dave and Robin.
I'd give it an 8 too.
I too. But it was.
And I like it a lot better than Clouds or Ladies of the Canyon, which I think are Ladies of the Canyon and Clouds are sort of like clearinghouses for these early tunes that she had.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Whereas this is a more of a conceived thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Definitely.
All right, David.
I'm gonna go for a 9, maybe, because it's not in genre, but it's lovely. I mean, it's really, and it's got fucking Cactus Tree on it.
Yeah.
That fucking Cactus Tree. That's true. Mark.
That's a 10.
Yay.
It's a 10. It's one of my very favorite Joni Mitchell albums. I still listen to it to this day, and I love it.
All right, Richard.
I'm giving it a 10. It's how I fell in love with Joni Mitchell, so I can't be objective about it, but I do love this record.
All right, Sue.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about the way it was produced, but I think of it as the way each song was crafted, so I have to give it a 10.
All right, Chris.
I'm going for a 10 also because when I think about the period and, it was Henry Mancini and Herb Alpert and all of this, this kind of noise on the radio and this courageous solo guitar and a beautiful voice and not even one demanding your attention like perhaps she learned or began to use on Ladies of the Canyon. I mean, she let the writing speak, and it was very courageous. I agree. It has some lesser moments, but overall, yeah, I'm going for a 10.
It's pretty perfect.
Yeah. Well, I am made fun of on some of my other podcasts that I give a damn 10 on every album. So why why make an exception now? But when I think of this album, I probably have pulled this out of my CD case more than Blue, maybe even more than Clouds and Ladies Canyon. Like, this is an album that I go to, more than some of the other ones. So I'm gonna have to give it a 10. And I like Pirates of Penance and cheeseburgers. So take that, everybody.
It's
Being a
great
virgin that likes cheeseburgers is not easy. All right. Well, Joni Mitchell, if you're out there listening, get to work on that next archives because we need to have another podcast next season. Does anybody want to rate Joni's jazz before we go? No, I'm just kidding.
I posted a link in the chat to our cover of Dawn Treader.
Oh,
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
I feel like there's a way on YouTube where at the end of a video I can link to other videos. So I'll see if I can do that and link.
Yeah, you can put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's playing and I don't know how to stop it.
Oh God, there goes.
I don't know how to stop it. Wait, hold up.
I'll just mute you. All right. Well, I love you all so much. We will of course meet again, and I'll get this posted tonight. Bye, everybody.
See a few of you in Scotland.
And see some in Rochester.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye.